Recognize that tune, and you know it's time for Relics Radio. This is a family-friendly show, so the entire family can join us as we talk metal detecting and relic hunting. You can call into the show at 270-495-0315 or join in the chat and post any comments or questions you might have, and we'll get to as many of them as we can. You're listening to Relics Radio of Southern Kentucky and Middle Tennessee. All right, we're live once again from the foothills of the Cumberland Mountains in Southern Kentucky and Middle Tennessee. I am your host here on Relics Radio, Digging with Seven, and my co-host.
And I'm your co-host, Tennessee Jeff.
There we go. And we've got, I've got Mo, Larry, and Curly on the Skype here tonight.
Yep, we got Dave Miller in. There's Jordan, Rick. Chris is down here. He was the first one. But we couldn't do the show without you guys, could we, Seven?
No, they are as important as our guests are. And we've got a great show lined up for you tonight. If you are into metal detecting, and I guess that you are, you certainly probably wouldn't be tuned into this show, because that's all we talk about, ain't it, Jeff?
That's it. We try to keep it relics, and we'll stray off every now and then, but we just mainly try to keep it relics. So
that's what we know. And we got Jeff Ford. Jeff, are you on?
I am here, and I appreciate y'all having us on.
And we got your buddy, Wes Stringer. You on, aren't you, Wes?
Yes, sir. Thanks for having me.
Oh, I tell you what, we've been excited about this. I think that we're going to get a lot of people on the show here tonight listening. And by the way, we want to welcome all of our live listeners in the United States and in Canada. And also those of you that will catch this program on the archives, either in the U.S. or Canada. But we also have listeners in Australia, UK, the Netherlands, Germany, Malta. We're just everywhere, ain't we, Jeff?
We are. And then a lot of them, I was like, you was telling me where they were from, and I was like, where's that at? And then I would have to look it up on the globe. And then I didn't know that was over there. I thought it was over here. So. But we appreciate all you listeners, too. So
yes, we do. The obvious thing here is the great silver hoard that you two guys got into. And I know that Wes was the first to get on that site, got the permission. Wes, why don't you just kind of start us off and tell us about the initial contact with this place?
Well, I was door knocking that day, and I pulled in this guy's driveway, and he met me outside his front door, and he said, "Hey, what's going on?" And I told him I wanted to metal detect, and he said, "Oh, sure, you bet, no problem." He said, "I'd if I was you, I'd start in the backyard." And I was thinking, oh, I didn't really want to go in the backyard. I want the front yard. So I gave it a chance. I walked back there, and I grabbed my detector and got ready, and got a hit, and I tried to dig, and there was a layer of gravel there, and I thought, oh, this isn't going to be all that good. So I didn't dig. I left that. It was like a penny or something, and I thought I'd give it a chance. I hadn't been there very long, so I started swinging. I wandered off maybe, 20, 25 yards down the hill, and I heard something really loud. I just got this detector not too long ago. It's an E-track, and I'd never heard really heard silver out of an E-track live, but I heard something real loud, and I thought, oh, okay, it's going to be probably a quarter or something. So, and it was. The first thing I dug was a 64 Washington. And I was,
sir, man.
I was I was happy. I was just really happy.
We lost Plugmaster there for a minute, but I called him back. So go ahead, Wes.
I just keep talking. I might get lost again.
Okay.
We're trying to get home, so just call me back if you do.
Okay, will do. Go ahead, Wes. I didn't mean to disturb you. That's your buddy, though. It's not mine now, so you can blame him.
No, he's good people. He's really good people. I'm telling you.
I agree.
But no, I'd never dug a silver Washington. The only other silver quarter I'd ever dug was an 1899 Barber, and it was by accident, I'm sure. But anyway, no, I was happy. I could have quit right then and just went home and been happy with it. But no, I put my plug back in, and I moved up about a foot and got another hit. And so I got down there and I popped the plug, and out pops two half dollars.
Oh, man.
And I kind of looked around a little bit and seen if maybe somebody played a trick on me or something, because this doesn't happen to me. No, this would never happen to me. And I was on fire. By that time, I'd done called my wife after I'd done that, because usually I go home empty-handed, and so I kind of collected myself, and I put my plug back, and I thought, well, let's look around some more. So, I moved another foot or so over, and it hit again. I was like, are you kidding me? My inner monologue was going 100 miles an hour. And I was just beside myself. So I dug those. So at that time, I had 5 silvers, and I hadn't been there, I don't know, less than 10 minutes.
No kidding. Man.
Yeah. And I kept swinging. I wasn't moving very far, and I just kept getting some little bitty blips, on the E-track, and I'd have to dig down just a little bit. But anyway, I kept popping $half after $half. And I think I sent Jeff the picture of the first 5. And by that time, I was just on fire. I just couldn't believe it. And before long, I had a trench dug that was 2 to 3 feet wide by maybe 5 foot long, and they just kept popping out. I had abandoned the metal detector at that point. I was just using a pinpointer, and it was just amazing. Hello.
We lost Jeff.
Sorry.
Yeah, we lost Jeff again. He's calling. We're just playing phone tag with Jeff. He's in and out of service there.
Well, I call you at the top of the hill, and you don't answer till I get to the bottom.
I was trying to answer. I was calling you at the same time that you were calling me. And Wes, you said you abandoned the detector and just started using the pinpointer. If anybody hadn't seen the videos, they are on Plugmaster Ford on YouTube. And what's the title on those videos, Jeff?
The first one was called Holy Cow. Huge Silver Horde, I believe. And the second one was the Silver Pit.
Okay, if you haven't seen those videos, you need to go and see them, because this is what...
Yeah, most definitely.
This is what we dream of. These are the kind of... this is a once-in-a-lifetime deal. You can almost safely say that you guys better enjoy this, because it probably won't happen again in your lifetime. Would you agree?
Yes, sir. I do agree.
But I noticed, it's terrible ground to dig in, full of rocks, wasn't it?
Oh, yeah, it's brutal. There's a big chunk rock in there, and there's compacted clay, and it's hard digging. It's really, really hard. It just wore out by the end of the day. And
a ton of nails, too, wasn't there?
There was lots
ton of
and
nails.
lots and lots. Lots of nails.
And one thing about it, with that clay that was under there and the fire, it's almost like adobe in some places. You know, it's almost like cracking through pottery.
Man,
it's pretty rough.
I could tell whenever you were sticking your lash, you know, and it's got a sharp point on it. And you guys were having to put a lot of pressure on that just to get in there with a lash, much less with a shovel. And Chris Hamsoff has put a link in just now to one of the videos. And so those of you in chat can look at that and click on that and go watch that video after the show is over. But I want to go back to Wes again for just a moment. Wes, you said that you had found, only one silver up until that time, and it was a barber?
I'd found one silver quarter up to that point. I found several mercury dimes, but, you know, I don't get to find much silver. I just got this new E-track from a friend, and I'm still learning it, and I just had to figured out what silver sounds like on that thing, and no, I haven't dug much silver since I've been detecting, and this has been truly a treat.
And then you get in this situation, and you guys know, Jeff, you and I, we found, you know, we've been lucky enough to find some really nice stuff over the years, different things, and you have that adrenaline rush, don't you, Jeff, whenever you find something?
Oh, yes, you sure do. I mean, it's once you see that edge of that coin, and it's like, what's it going to be? I mean, what is it going to be? I mean, you get excited, and you finally figure out what it is. And I couldn't imagine just coin after coin after coin. I mean, I would have to call the paramedics. I mean, that's just it. I would have to have them sitting there with me as I'm digging these coins. And it was a great hoard of coins. And like you said, I mean, you're in a lot of trash and nails and stuff, and I mean, you're having to do it with a pin pointer, and I mean, that makes it even more exciting, you could say. So,
you know, one thing that I thought about, you always get that adrenaline rush whenever you make a good find, whether it's silver or whether it's a good relic, and you see it. You always have that adrenaline rush, but then here you are that first day, and you're pulling silver after silver after silver. And it looks to me like that just your psyche would just get saturated. I mean, did it just drain you that first day after so long?
Well, actually, no, it didn't, because I was so excited. I didn't want it to end. I didn't want the sun to go down, because that meant I had to stop, because I didn't want to leave. I was super pumped for this hole, and I couldn't believe it. After I'd filled my hole in, it took me a little while, but I got it filled back in. I went over it with a detector, and I started hearing some more stuff in there, and I thought, oh man, I got to get back here tomorrow. But I waited for Jeff, so it was I didn't get tired of it.
Well, that was great, you know, that you brought Jeff in. Let me ask you something else. If you don't mind telling me, how many silvers did you find that first day?
That first day was 132, I believe was the count.
Oh my goodness. Man, well, can you imagine?
All.
See, that's a sight right there that would hurt a man, because, I mean, luckily you found it while it's cooler in the year. I mean, early spring. Now, if you'd found that while it was 110 degrees outside, and you're sitting there digging and digging, your adrenaline would have been flowing and not realizing how hot you really were. And, I mean, it could have been bad, but I'm glad you found it this time of year.
That's just
Right.
that is
Yeah.
just unbelievable. I mean, there are people that work all year long and are lucky to get 100 silver coins, and you get 132 in the first day. I just can't wrap myself around that.
What you need to do, hey, Lloyd, you need to ask him how many of them were bucket listers.
Yeah. Okay. How many were bucket listers?
Just about all of them.
You filled your bucket plumb full like man.
I kicked a hole in the side of my bucket, and they just kind of ran out.
You did.
Well, name them off. What hadn't you found up till that day that you started on that?
I'd never found a silver Washington, and let's see, there wasn't no SLQ that first day, but a Kennedy half, a Franklin half, a Walking Liberty. Believe it or not, I've never dug a silver Rosie until that day. And at the very end of the day, it was dark, and I can't remember if I was talking on the phone with Jeff or if I was texting him, but I had one more hit. I thought, man, I'm just going to dig it. It's just 3 inches. And I popped out a peace dollar right at the end. And
Carl,
it was a lot of fun, guys. I'm telling you.
Yeah, I was at home, and I'm thinking, and he texts me and says, "I just popped a peace dollar." I'm like, "Dude, it's dark." You know.
And
I bet you were like, "Well, bring the flashlights." I mean, dang.
Yeah.
We could have set up shop right there, and we could have dug for days and just still kept popping them.
how big?
Yeah, but I'll tell you that. I will tell you this much: as hard as that digging is, when that sun goes down, you listen to God and say, "Yep, time to go to bed,"
Yeah.
because you are tired.
Yeah, I could tell that that it was wearing you guys out. And, Plug Master, and I say Plug Master because we got 2 Jeffs on here, that had to be brutal on you that first day, getting text and getting information and seeing if he sent you some pictures and what have you. That just had to be killing you, didn't it?
You know what? It didn't. My wife's looking at me and she basically said, "Why are you so giddy? And who are you texting?" And I said, "Listen, Wes has got himself into a cache of some sort. He's pulling coins left and right." And she goes, "Really?" And my wife usually, doesn't even care about that stuff. And I said, "Yeah." I said, I showed her the picture that he had sent me over, earlier in the day. And I said, he was up to 23 and at one time 23 halves. And she's like, "Wow." I mean, she saw my excitement for him. And I just, throughout the day, I felt like I was part of it because Wes and I felt like I was bothering him, Man, he's got these coins everywhere. He has to stop and text me back. But now I realize he was probably looking forward to that just so he can put that shovel down for a little bit and
rest. How big an area did all of those come from that first day there, Wes?
That first day, well, the pit the trench that I had opened up was like 2 or 3 foot wide by maybe 4 or 5 foot long, and at one point in the trench itself, I was down about 18 inches, and they was just
and that was all. That was all with his hand shovel.
With my little
man
hand shovel.
Yeah,
it was rough. My hand was sore the next day.
I'd say
I didn't care.
I bet it was.
Yeah.
Just pop the blisters and keep on going. I mean, that's all you can do.
That's right.
Could you imagine?
Me and Jeff were hunting the other day, and we were both wore out. I mean, we had hunted one spot in the morning and then went to another spot, and we'd hunted all day, and both of us were just absolutely wore out. And then he popped out a real good find that will be on this next week's video. I won't give it away, Jeff. But it's funny how you're not tired anymore whenever you find something like that. And you don't realize how tired you are until you just, you finally do quit and go home. Of course, I had to drive an hour and a half back home and he didn't. But you just don't realize how tired that you really are until you get finished.
Yeah.
Right.
Plugmaster, tell us about your first day coming in on that then.
Well, I'll be honest with you. Wes called me on the way home, and we, talked about it, and I mean, it was awesome. And he asked me, he goes, "What are you doing next Friday?" And I was like, "Well, I'm pretty sure I'm clearing my schedule, And
That's right.
So, well, anyway, I thought, he said, he goes, "Man, there's lots of targets." And I was like, "All right." And I said, "Yeah, let's plan on it." And of course, Wes will tell you, I kept checking the weather all the time, and it just kept flip-flopping. And honestly, I was about to flip out because it was like 80% chance of rain. And Wes said, "Oh, don't worry about it. It won't rain." And boy, sure enough, it didn't rain. The day before they changed it to 20%, and then we never got rained on that day, I don't think. And
Never had
next time we did, but yeah. And so anyway, so I go down, I got up early in the morning, took off, and I was thinking, man, if we could pop 10 silvers, and really I was hoping for 10 halves, I would have been tickled. And so, and we did it just the same way Wes did it before, except we had brought pickaxes. Did we bring pickaxes the first time?
Not the first day.
No,
I think
we didn't. We didn't. No, we just went at it hardcore digging and realized that that's not the way to do it. But we basically went to where Wes, we started metal detecting at first, and I was just floored with the amount of grunts my machine was making. And even at some times it blanked, there was just that much iron scattered everywhere. And so Wes had gone back a little bit east to where he had found his big Horde the other day, that first day. And he starts digging some. Well, I'm circling around. Of course, I don't want to come right up next to him, and plus the CTX and the E-Track don't really like each other unless I noise cancel. And so I was just kind of hanging around the edges, and I wound up busting a quarter, but I did wind up, Wes said, get in here. And so I wound up getting a signal, and then I put the machine down, and I would use it to check every once in a while. But that first time, guys, I had my 11-inch coil on, and it was really hard. It's really hard to get through all that stuff in order to get a signal. But we wound up digging out. In the wrap up of that video, you'll see us say it was 198 coins, but Wes had 2 in his pocket. He missed, so we had 200 total for that first day. And so, I mean,
that's on top of Wes's first day of how many coins?
131.
Yeah, 132.
132.
Yeah. So we were at 332 after 2 days of doing that, and I don't want to give out too much, but it gets better. Oh yeah.
Jeff, Tennessee Jeff and I talked about it, and Jeff, you had kind of an observation and a concern about using a metal detector there. And what was that? It's unbelievable that the coins that y'all are finding, that the detector will not pick them up no deeper than they are, with all the scattered iron around and stuff. And I mean, that makes you think, what are we missing when we go to these nail infested home sites? So, yeah.
I'm very depressed over it. I'll be honest. I walked away, and I would look at Wes and just go, how is it, this is unbelievable, how is it that $50 that was 2 inches under the soil didn't register on my machine? It's just crazy. And I've gone to the 6-inch coil, which does make a difference. But still, it's still hard to get a signal. And so basically we go to a method of just sitting down on a pot, getting stuff out and just taking the letch and scraping away 1/4 inch at a time. And you'd be amazed how many just pop out doing that. And then you hit it with your detector and hope for a squeak. And if you get one, you drive your letch in and pop it up. And, 50% of the time, there's more than one that pops up. It's just been crazy, and I can't wait for everyone to see next week's video. It's pretty fun. Well, the week after that's even more fun.
Yeah, I'm not gonna give anything away because and I was dying here in Kentucky because Jeff Ford would call me and he said, "You're not going to believe this," and he'd tell me, what they had found that day and everything. And you owe me a phone, by the way, because I drooled all over mine and ruined it. So, but evidently,
Rick Ward's got a question.
Okay, go ahead.
If y'all can answer it, did y'all try to find out why they were there, or what was the site before the house was there? Can y'all answer that? I mean,
well, yeah. We don't know why they were there. It's if you look at the coins and everything that we're talking about, 64 is the cutoff date. It was probably a deal of, and there's one or two people that could have been the ones, and again, we'll get into that more towards the end of the Horde. But there's one or two people that could have buried it or whatever they did with it. We don't know if it was in the walls of the structure. We don't know if it was underneath, buried somewhere. We assume it was buried, and then of course it got bulldozed after the fire and everything. And so, but it's most definitely it's a purchase of a large amount of silver, and it would have been classified as junk silver. There are a couple coins which you'll see in upcoming episodes. There are a couple coins that might have a little bit more value than melt, but not a ton. And again, and of course, I always get attacked on there because I rub the coins. I always joke. It's like, we're not digging up Mona Lisa's, guys. Come on,
Yeah, that's right.
It's a metal disc that they stamped with a machine, and it's so anyway. It's a good thing we don't do this for the money. I guess there's a lot of people that do because it freaks them out. But anyway, almost, I can't say all of them, but almost every coin that we find has some pitting because it saw extreme heat. Some are worse than others. And Wes can tell you, some of them have like I don't know what it is, concrete iron infusion in them.
That's what,
and
it looks
hard,
like a piece of cast iron.
Yeah.
Looks like what?
It's almost like a nail.
What did Wes say it looked like?
It looked like a piece of cast iron, just a coin-sized piece of cast iron is what it kind of looked to me like. You
could see that they were in rough shape on the video there, and
you can.
I knew Jeff was going to rub them, and I knew he was going to get grief for it. But they've been in the ground. They've been through all the freezes and the thaws, and especially in a rocky place like that, and with all the nails and everything. It's just they've had a little bit of rubbing in their life.
That's what I always say. That thing's been in the ground now these hadn't been in the ground for 100 years, but a lot of times I'll tell people it's seen 400 to 500 freezes and thaws with expansion and shrinkage of the soil with all them sandy soil and everything. But for some reason, when I pull it out and wipe it once with my thumb, it puts it over the edge value-wise. I don't understand that,
It doesn't.
I get a kick out of it.
It doesn't. It's just that people, they want to, everybody has their way, and, that's your coin. You found it, and you can do exactly what you want to with it.
That's exactly right. But, as far as the videos go, the reason I started doing that was I wanted people to feel like they were with me on this hunt. And of course, I've got guys that I watch, all the time. And it really drives me insane if they pull a coin and just tell me what it is, but they won't clean it off to where I can see it. You know, I have to take their word for it that it's, you know, a Merc or that it's a Barber or whatever. And it just, for me, it kind of kills the whole reason I watch, you know, and you guys are probably like me. I watch YouTube when I can't hunt.
Yeah.
And I want to experience a hunt. And so, I don't know. That kills me. I'm not the kind that ever sticks around for a wrap up at the end of a hunt. I just don't, you know, because that's, you know, I don't watch it to see what the end result was. I watch it because I want to feel like I was there with you, you know, and that's what I try to do with my videos. And if I don't wipe that coin off to where you can see it, you know, I mean, I'm curious. I'm like a cat. I got to see what it is, you know.
I do too.
And
hey guys,
like
and I told someone
the last good coin I found. Of course, it's going to be on the next video, right, Seven?
It'll be week after next. It'll be on episode
week after next.
170.
And see, I'll admit, I'm not a coin guy. I mean, I've never said I was, but I didn't even know the United States made this coin. And I found this disc, and it was had so much crud on it, you couldn't take a toothpick and get it off. You couldn't do this. So I finally put it through electrolysis, and it come out real good. I believe it come out great. And like I said, I had no idea what this coin was, but it was like some of your coins that y'all guys have found. It was just had so much crud on it. And then, of course, this was my first time of doing electrolysis on a coin, but it turned out real good. So.
It did, and I run both of those clips. I run the first clip where you found it, and then the second clip after you said, well, let me get it cleaned up and we'll see what it is. And then you made a couple of still shots of it, and Jeff was scouting on that trip. I wasn't there. So he made a couple of still shots, and I threw them in. That's after running the electrolysis. And it, came out pretty good. Hey, guys, we're coming up on a hard break here. Let me run an ad, and we'll be back in 2. If your passion is metal detecting, then you know how much your success is based on the equipment you use. Let my buddy Tim Henderson of Murray Branch Outdoors in Murfreesboro, Tennessee, help you with that. Tim is an authorized dealer of Garrett, XP Deus, Tesoro, and macro detectors and supplies. He also carries a variety of aftermarket coils. Murray Branch Outdoors is not only competitive in their prices, but the service after the sale is second to none. We've all experienced those situations where we purchase a new detector and then we get out in the field and we have questions about settings or operation of that particular detector. Well, I tell you what, with your purchase from Murray Branch Outdoors, you're also going to get Tim's personal cell phone number. That's right, his own cell phone number, and you're just a quick phone call away from getting answers to those questions. Now try that with some chain store purchase of a detector. Murray Branch Outdoors also deals in used detectors, and he'll give you top dollar for your trade-in whenever you decide to upgrade. So give Tim of Murray Branch Outdoors a call at 615-948-4611 and tell him Relics Radio said hey. Rick Ward has a question, and he said, what did the landowner think of you guys finding such a large cache of coins?
Well,
he was pretty excited. Wes?
Yeah, he'll. I really don't know how to answer that. The homeowner, he's a great guy. He's super cool about this whole thing, and he was like, well, yeah, sure. He wants to see what comes up next. I mean, he's just like the rest of us, but I mean, he's not a detector or anything, but he's just super cool with it. He's like, yeah, get in there and get it. Nobody else is going to. You might as well. So he just thinks he's just really happy for us. So
and guys, honestly, he's out there 10 to 15 times every day with us. he'll come out and he'll go, "Oh my goodness, did those all come out of there?" You know, he just he gets excited right there with us. Now I will tell you that he kind of blew our theory that we had going at first, you know, because we were finding these different shades of glass and different shapes and everything, you know, pieces of it. And so, you know, we've thrown together this theory of, okay, it's multiple jars and then even maybe a little pottery, you know, because honestly, a mason jar can't hold what we found, not even a half-gallon mason jar.
Right.
And and so, you know, he came out, I don't know, it was our third time, I think, and just squashed it all. But he goes, "Oh, I know what that is. I know what that is. You know, that's to a wine goblet or something." And he told us, he said, "Oh, I had a bunch of glassware in there when it burned." And so that kind of, now we have found one pretty good sized mason jar bottom. But you know, it's just one. And so, and we've also found parts to what we think might be a trunk, hadn't we, Wes?
Yeah, we've dug up quite a bit of wood out of that hole, so I'm kind of thinking it might have been in some kind of wood crate or trunk.
Well, y'all have done more.
We had that.
Y'all have done more than they've done on Oak Island so far. I'll tell you that.
You have.
And you haven't spent millions of dollars doing it either.
Yeah, I just pray we don't have to go that deep.
Me too.
Yeah, but you would if you had to, I promise you.
I don't know. It gets awful wet and mucky, doesn't it, Wes?
Yes, it do. Yes, it does.
Yeah.
How many trips have y'all made to that site now? How many times have you went digging?
Four?
I've been there 4, and Jeff has been there, 3 times. 4 times. 3, yeah.
Yeah, I've been there 3 times. So all total 4 times it's been dug on.
The initial hole then, how far have the finds spread out from that initial hole?
This is the stupid part, isn't it, Wes?
Oh, yeah. Not too far at all. I mean,
Would you say, Wes, that by the time our 4th dig was over, we were maybe 10 foot by 10 foot?
I think that would cover the whole, yeah.
Yeah,
that's the
pretty
perfect
close
area right there. Yeah, that's really close.
But we say that, and I'll just tell you, the last time we went, we started a little bit on Friday night, and we found a fair amount, and so I said on video, you know, how many we had found that night. Well, we got back to Wes's house, and I was 3 short of what I said. And whenever we were getting ready to leave, I pulled them out of my pocket, and I was putting them in, you know, a little sandwich box just to, you know, for transport. But obviously some fell out. And so that next morning I told Wes, I said, I'm going to go look and see if I can find those 3 that I lost, apparently. And I wound up finding one of them, but I kid you not, I'm 30 yards from our dig site, and I get a signal and pop a 3-inch Franklin half. And I'm like, oh, brother, here we go again. But there's no telling. You know, it got dozed. We are very fortunate, and we're in a pocket. But, you know, we sit there and talk about it. What if it went across this whole yard at this, you know, rate of pulling them? I mean, it'd just be crazy. It would be crazy. We don't know, you know, that's the thing about it. You don't know how many are there. A person would be able to hunt that with a metal detector for years and probably pull silvers.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I mean, you know, you're not going to get the deep stuff, but there are shallow signals, but it's just so hard to work with a detector.
Yeah, Deus Digger, how old is the site?
30s?
Well, yeah, the structure was built in the 30s.
Okay.
But basically, the ground's 6,000 years old.
Jeff Miller wanted to know, is this story on YouTube? Yes, they have 2 episodes out. It's on Plugmaster Ford is what you need to look for on YouTube. The first one is Holy Cow, and the second one, Jeff, remind me what you said that one was?
The Silver Pit.
The Silver Pit. and there will be 2 more videos unless y'all go back and start more, right?
Well, and that's a bad thing about it. We're kind of on hiatus for a little bit. We both got a lot of stuff going on in our lives right now, and and of course DIV is coming up, and so I'll be gone for that week and then this week. But I think the week after DIV, we're going to try to rustle up and hit it again. Isn't that what we've decided, Wes?
Yeah, I think so. We'll let that place settle down a little bit, and then we'll get back after it.
Let's see, the first one, is it the Silver Pit, the Horde grows metal detecting?
That's the second one.
That's number 2.
Okay.
Yeah, that's
the holy cow, huge Horde found.
Yeah, that's number 1.
Well, I'll just tell you. I'll just tell you. Yeah, as far as number 2 goes, and I don't know if you guys noticed, there wasn't a whole lot of editing had to have been done there, because basically what it is, I turn on the camera and watch Wes dig for 16 minutes straight. I mean, to me, that's the most incredible live dig you could put on YouTube. And because, he would just pinpoint and he'd chip off some dirt and boom, there'd be 2 edges or there'd be 3 edges or whatever. And so the whole thing, and that's what was crazy, is my battery was dying on my camera, because we'd already, done the first part of that video, and I, like a dummy, didn't charge it up before I came. The battery usually lasts a long time, but anyway, I felt bad. I thought Wes had dug a lot more coins out of that hole than he had on camera, but going back and watching it, I think he pulled 17 coins out of it, and you can see in there how deep he is. But I put the camera on the charger and I came back, and Wes was spent. Honestly, he was wore out. It wasn't like that. He had just started. And this thing doing it by hand, and this was probably the worst dirt we had hit. And so I jump in, and we just keep going back and forth. And so, one of us would pinpoint, the other one would pop stuff, and then we'd grab them and get them in. And Wes was probably, what do you think, Wes, 14 inches deep whenever we started going back and forth? We wound up taking the hole down to about 22 inches. Now, we reamed it out a little bit, but we wound up taking that hole to 22 inches, and it went from 17 coins to we pulled 103 out of that. I mean, it was just absolutely insane. And what was funny, and I told Wes, I said, man, I'm all excited about, the second part of that video. People aren't going to believe it. And then I went through to edit the video, and I went, well, my goodness, we only have 16 or 17 coins on video, and it was way better than that, But still, I told him, I said,
Bill Hayes, he's wanting to know what the oldest coin was.
That's coming up in episode 4.
Okay.
But
episode 4, okay.
Yeah, episode 3, we will pull the oldest one so far, and then episode 4 we smoke that. And so, it's as of right now, with what is out there, 1922 peace dollar is the oldest coin. Isn't that right, Wes?
Yeah. Yes, sir.
Yeah.
1922.
And for those of you that are listening, and those of you that will listen on the archives as well, we're kind of bouncing back and forth here because these guys have 2 more videos, and we don't want to step on that. So there are some things that they're going to withhold telling right now because obviously they want to break that story. And we're basically just working on the first 2, and then there's some stuff that even if you threaten to kill them, they're not going to tell you, like location and stuff like that. And I don't blame them.
We've tried, hadn't we, Seven?
Yeah. I'll tell you one thing, though. It could not have happened to 2 better guys.
Well,
thank you.
We appreciate that. And I tell you what, Wes and I have had so much fun. Hadn't it, Wes? It's brutal. But, what's funny is we'll look at each other, and Wes will tell you, I've said this so many times, this is the stupidest thing I've ever seen in my life. this is just insane. I mean, and I've commented to people, I said, we're trying to wrap our hands or, grasp what on earth are we into? And then we'll sit there and look at the big hole that we've got, the bucket full of silver that we have, and then look out and go, golly, this whole yard could be full of them. It's absolutely astonishing to think about what might still be there. Wes and I talked about that. Everybody says you dream about gold coins, and I said no. I said I for some reason in my dreams I've got a 3-foot sidewall with silver edges sticking out of it all the time. That's what is in my dream.
Well, that brings
Jeff, did you know you had a GPS tracker on your truck?
Yeah. That someone told me that. Someone made that comment. I said that's why I went out and painted it in lead paint. Block all the signals.
You bring up a good question about dreaming about a sidewall with silver sticking out. Did either one of you guys sleep the night after each of those hunts?
I slept like a baby. I was wore slick out.
I imagine so. Another question.
Yeah, there's no, there's no. You're going to sleep. I mean, it's at DIV you get a break from the digging part, and that wears you out. You sleep good during DIV because there's a lot of detecting. You have to understand there's hardly any detecting. After we get going, and you'll see in the next couple of videos, how we've kind of changed our approach, and so, but the detectors are limited. They're limited on what they can do, and so basically we go to where we know we were last time, and we were talking about earlier. You had mentioned a lot of people say they'd be out there with headlights. Well, here's the crazy thing about it. We have had to plan every dig to fill the hole back in before it got dark.
Yeah.
And so it's kind of hard that you have to say, okay, you look at your pile and you go, that's going to take us 45 minutes. We're going to have to, cut it off right now. And so, but the landowner, he told us to leave it open. We're not going to do that. It's liability to him, and we don't want anything to happen that could do that. So, we put it back, every time and it kind of stinks, but to be honest with you, we'll pull 10 or 11 coins out every time we're filling it back in just from stuff we break out.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And, you and I talked whenever, I think the first time that you called, maybe second time, you'd call the first time just to tell me what was going on. And then when you got ready to do videos, you and I kind of discussed the best ways to shield showing where the location was. And by the way, you did a good job of that.
Well, thanks.
Have you had any audience around the spot?
We haven't really. Yeah, we've had a couple times people have pulled up, and I'm like, oh, but Wes knew them, and so he'd go and talk to them, and I guess I don't know if Wes intentionally cut them off at the pass, but he met them at their car, and so that was good. But there's some people that have walked by, but no one has shown any interest. They probably think we're with the utilities company or something, looking for a gas line.
Right.
We do have a big pile of dirt. One old boy did stop by one time and ask Wes, he goes, what are you finding? And Wes let him know we were finding a lot of nails. And which
yeah, that's the way you go. I've got some vests that you guys
true. But you guys should have seen the look on his face, like, boy, that's a couple idiots right there. They dug a hole that big and they're finding nails, huh?
Oh, it's been a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Hello? Oh, I bet it has.
Oh,
yeah, we're
unbelievable.
I think the funnest part is the anticipation going in. Honestly, you just sit there and you go, okay, which way are we going to go? And I'll be honest, we started the hole. We've gone south and we have gone west. And if you look at the first video, there for a while, we were migrating north, and we abandoned that and just went south. And so, because West got into a bunch. And so it's exciting to me because I think that north side, and of course he got into another pod east of that main hole as well. So, it's exciting to me, on, our next dig, because the direction, I think, Wes, we've discussed, we're going to go north, right?
Go north.
Yeah. I think we're going to
go north, young man.
Yeah,
go north, young man.
And I honestly feel like that we will get into some bigger coins, and that's kind of what we, in episode number 4, we got into some bigger coins. Not to spoil too much, but I think that's the direction. In episode 1, Wes pulled 2 of them that were from that side, and so why we gave up on it, you sit there and you go, it's so frustrating because you could go any direction and it's going to pay off. And but Wes really, when he went south there, we just got into it, and it just made sense when we've gone back just to keep going that way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Can you tell
There's Rick Ward again. He's got a good idea. Tell the neighbors you're installing sprinkler systems.
Yeah.
Can you tell where the original structure was located at? Pretty close.
Yeah, we know where the original structure was. Yes.
Okay, and then how far out?
The owner has pictures.
Okay, how far out from the structure then is the bulk of this horde coming from?
Would you say we're under it, Wes?
I think we're right under it. Yeah, I believe that. I believe we are.
Oh, so you're right in the heart of the structure then. So it would have
right.
been buried there. Oh, I see.
It could have been. That's what we didn't know. The first time we were there, the homeowner came out and he had a picture of this structure, and he said, "It looks like you guys are right underneath where the back steps would have been." And we're like, okay. Huh. But then the next time he comes out, he changed his mind, and he goes, "I'm wondering if these weren't in the walls or something." And so, he doesn't know. We don't know. And we're to the point now that it don't matter.
No.
It doesn't matter where it was.
No.
Yeah, it would be nice.
As long as you find them, it really doesn't matter. But, part of the appeal of this hobby is to put together all the pieces of the history. And, we just do that. We try to visualize what it looked like and try to visualize where something was at, why it's where it's at now. Of course, I know you said it had been dozed.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It had been dozed, and we still find parts of the structure. We find blocks and things like that, and brick, and so they didn't clean up everything, but man, I'd tell you what, I'd pay money to know where that dirt was dumped.
Right.
How much dirt do you think that they took off of it once they dozed it? Can you tell?
It would be hard to speculate. They guarantee you they took the top off because that's where all the debris was. But I mean, this was a very large structure. It's not like it was a little shack or something. This was a large structure, and there's no telling. I mean, there was a lot of dirt pushed in order to get this back to square one, like it looks. So there's no telling, where coins are. I was talking to Wes about that, and we've been truly blessed that first Washington quarter that he found was kind of like an upside down volcano going down. It just kept getting wider and wider, and what a blessing that he got that signal, because I'll be honest, and Wes will tell you, it's hard to get a signal out there. It really is.
It is.
And
it certainly is.
And you're using your CTX.
I can tell by your videos. I mean, it's really, really hard, and you're missing some of them big coins, and like you guys are doing, you're having to take your pin pointers. And I mean, like we said earlier,
right?
What are we missing at these old home sites?
And Jeff is using a CTX. That's a high-end metal detector. And Wes is using an E-Track. That's an equally high-end metal detector. And so, it kind of makes me wonder, what we're missing. And, and obviously the nails are masking all of that, but it just reinforces what we've already known. You got to get the junk out of the way to reveal those signals. And just a matter of how much you're willing to work.
That's true. And, one thing that I've done, and I reached out, I just thought it'd be a great opportunity. The Equinox, Mine Lab has Equinox out. Of course, I'm a Mine Lab guy, but they have the new Equinox out, and I don't have one yet, but they are talking about how well it works in iron. I have friends that have one, say how well they work in iron. And I threw that out, just through some channels to Mine Lab, that, boy, it'd be neat to get one of those machines out here. I really don't want to borrow one of my friends' machines, but it would be neat if they wanted to just spotlight and showcase and see how it does. I'm curious about it, just see if they wanted to get involved and just pick it, because I mean, we're having trouble, honestly. We're getting through it. But it would be nice to, I'd like to see what it could do there. And I think that would be a great platform for them to, because we've put their two best, the CTX and the E-Track, to the test. And it'd be neat to see how this one does. Just getting all the reviews on how it works in iron.
Yeah, I've been hearing all those and seeing some videos and everything. So there you go, Debbie, with Mine Lab. There's an opportunity to showcase the new Equinox, and I'd be interested to see what it would do. I would also be interested to see what an XP Deus, they say that they are really good in the nails. I'd like to see those two machines on your site just as a test, just to see if there is a big difference between picking the signals out in all that iron.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
I would too.
Definitely be.
And then Missouri Mike, he put, you can use my Harbor Freight machine if you want to. So there you go.
Now Mike's sitting right next to me, and I will slap him if y'all tell me what he texts.
Okay. Well, he asked earlier, I was trying to get to it. He asked if it was topsoil or red clay on top.
Yeah.
So
it's a mix, isn't it, Wes? There's a little bit of everything.
It's a mix. So you can go down, 10, 12 inches and find a little bit of topsoil that had been pushed around, and you could be 6 inches and have red clay, and it's just a mixed bag everywhere we've been.
It was so fun.
Can you tell if this farm has been plowed since the structure has burnt, or has it just been natural?
No, it's been dozed. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. After it's been dozed, it ain't been messed with since.
No.
Okay.
No.
Is there a certain depth where most of the coins have come from?
They're from 3 inches to what?
You may not be able to give that away, Wes.
How much depth? Yeah, I don't.
Yeah. Deep. They've been 3 inches to deep. I would say the bulk of them are between 10 inches and 24. Would you say, Wes?
That's pretty fair shot. Yeah. Uh-huh.
Yeah, I would say.
Yeah.
Of what we know so far.
And that's challenging for any detector if there's not a nail around it, unless you're running the GPX, And
well, I don't think we've gotten a signal that you couldn't just pop out with your ledge. I mean, it's not like you're going to get a 6-inch signal, from the top of the ground. It's just, you're not going to reach those. I don't know, Wes, how far was that? How deep was that first quarter that you popped getting in?
It was like 3 inches, maybe 4 inches, but
yeah, and that would be a good
there wasn't
get.
no iron, no nail. So it was just a stroke of luck. There wasn't any trash or iron around it. It was just a nice clean signal, and then
bam,
just had to stay with it.
And then bam, your whole life changed.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I'm still baffled thinking about Wes that first day, because when I went down, he told me it was rough digging, and when I went down, I took my my Predator Raven, which that's a digging machine right there, and I got my first diggable signal, and I put that thing down and kicked it with my foot and about sprained my ankle. I was like, oh my goodness gracious! I had no clue, and then what's bad is it wound up being a nail, and so that's frustrating. But it's we got it figured out now. We'll just leave it at that. We've got it figured out now, so we're not near as sore at the end of the day anymore.
Yeah.
So.
Let me.
I bet.
Let me open up our phone lines. There may be somebody out there that wants to ask a question that we haven't asked or hadn't been asked in the chat. Number is 270-495-0315, and Tennessee Jeff put it in the chat there. And if somebody wants to call in, I think we can link you up with no problem and ask these rock star metal detectorists a question here. You'll say you heard them.
Rockheads.
Yeah. You'll say you heard them first on Relics Radio.
That is true. I tell you what, I told you this, Loy, I really enjoy your show. I mean, I do. I enjoy the chat. I enjoy just, you're easy to listen to. Jeff, on the other hand, man, I tell you what. But, I tell you, we all, yeah, boy, we all really enjoy the show, and it's, we like the topics, and Mike and I, of course, we go on Thursdays, and so it's what we do on the way home. It's a little bit harder for me to watch the chat while I'm driving, but Michael, keep me clued in, and he'll chat, but we really enjoy the show. Glad you guys have it going, and just hope it continues on.
Well, we appreciate that, and
we appreciate it.
Yeah. We enjoy doing it, don't we, Jeff?
We sure do, and I mean, you're like Jeff said, you're a well-spoken guy, and then here I am, the funny guy. And you come out with these words, and I'm like, what does that mean? And I have to Google it, and that's what that word means.
So, in the moments past.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah, it just shot right over his head is all it did.
Yeah, that was 10 comments down, and I'm like, well, I can't bring that back up. Never mind. Let's just go on with the show.
I've actually reached out to American Digger Magazine, and you guys, I talked with. I hadn't personally talked to Wes, but I've been talking to Wes through Jeff, and looking at doing an article on this. Still trying to figure out the format, and I'm going to talk to Butch about that in the next few days, and probably get that going after DIV. But I was talking to Tennessee Jeff yesterday or last night, and I may have to come over there to you guys and shoot some good pictures over there, because I think I've got some ideas on that would make a great cover shot for a magazine, which I've done a bunch of in my lifetime, but I've got some ideas on that, or we may have to meet halfway and figure out a spot that we might get together and hunt or something and accomplish that. I don't know yet. Maybe we'll talk about that in Virginia.
Sounds good to us. I'm sure Wes would be up for a road trip, wouldn't you?
I believe so. I believe I would be.
Well, my house is halfway, isn't it, Seven?
Do what?
Yeah.
My house is halfway, isn't it?
No, your house is not halfway. My house is closer to halfway than your house is. You're another hour and a half from them.
So you guys honestly are halfway to DIV for us. So
Yeah.
Well, that's true. Wes is not going to DIV, is he, or is he?
He's not, but we're going to gear him up for it. He's we've talked with him about it, and I know it's something that he would enjoy, and he would be a great addition to our group that goes. And but he's got to get the bug first for that Civil War stuff, and we got to get him on some stuff.
It doesn't take much, I tell you, to get the Civil War bug. 1 or 2 3-ringers, and you're hooked. At least that's the way I was. I never set out. I never set out to do Civil War hunting like Jeff did. That's what he started on. But
yeah, that's what I started on. But I'm sitting here thinking, Plugmaster Ford, what is Wes going to find while you're at DIV? So I mean, there you go. You're going to find a few bullets and then. So you're going to sit there and like, man, I wish I was back in Missouri. Man, what's he finding? So.
I'll send him pictures.
I'll tell you this. Yeah, if he opens that hole, I mean, he's more man than I am, because if he opens the hole like we've opened it, and then has to fill it in himself, that's a lot of
work. My chat is still going, and Dennis is on here, and Dennis said his house is halfway. If that's true, Dennis, we might just meet up with you. And hunt with you and get everything going in like that.
We're way across the state, though. It's not like you get to the edge of Missouri and you've got there. You got to go all the way across it to get to us, because we're quite a ways.
Well, Seven, if I had all your money, you just book a Lear jet and we'll just fly out there and meet them somewhere. So.
There you go.
You've had too much. You've had too much sun, or I don't know what's wrong. You've had a brain freeze or something other.
Yep, there's Barb in the house. She's finally here. So she said she couldn't remember Thursday at 7 for some reason. I don't know.
Yeah, well, better late than never, and you can go back and catch the archive. It's a great show, I tell you. The Great Silver Horde in Missouri. We've got Jeff Ford and Wes Stringer on the show tonight. And I tell you what, it's been a great show, no doubt about it. And we're going to leave the lines open for just a little bit more, 270-495-0315, if you want to talk to either one of these guys. They may or may not be able to answer the questions that you have because they're only halfway through their videos. Plugmaster, do you mind telling what coin count that you're at now from this 10 by 10 spot?
Well, off the top of my head, I can't throw it out 100%. I know I had sent you 1,425, but we had some communication problems. We're a little bit shy of that. We're between 1,000 and 1,500. We'll just put it that way. Right now, it's just shy of. It's around 1,200, I think. Isn't that right, Wes? We haven't done the official math.
Pretty accurate.
It's pretty close to 1,200 coins right now, with almost half of them being halves, which is stupid.
It is stupid, and you sent me a tally on some of that stuff. 333 Franklin halves, 165 Walker halves. That is absolutely unbelievable. And I agree with Becky. Holy silver.
Yeah. Well, the thing that baffled me is when we get all done, of course, we carry out our fines and everything, but Wes started weighing them, and I was like, hey, it's a good idea. And so our last tally, after it's all said and done, we've dug 22.5 pounds of silver.
Man,
So-
22.5 pounds.
Which doesn't sound like much, and Barb is not going to like what I'm fixing to say, but if you melt all that, you got a pretty penny of money right there, more than you have in face value.
Right, sir. Yeah, way more than face value. It's a nice little collection, and but yeah, well, I mean, we're both chomping at the bit to get back, and it's probably a good thing that we have to take a little bit of a break. Wes has got some exciting stuff going on in his life, and so we really need to put things on hold for a little bit. And that's one thing about it. It's been there, since the mid '60s. It's probably going to be there for a couple more weeks.
Oh yeah, it will be. And then it was sitting there waiting on you and Wes the whole time. So,
and if we can get Wes to go to Virginia, he's the kind of guy that'll find a pit, isn't he?
Oh yeah, that will have
like
no trouble
so.
digging a deep hole. Yeah.
And
I'll tell you what, after all this digging, I might pass up one of those signals.
Well, I tell you what,
Barb said,
you can't
sell them and we'll buy them.
Barb, they're going to sell them at melt value. I hate to tell you that, but that's what they're not going to take face value on them. But it's kind of like you said. The most of those are in pretty rough shape, with the residue and everything on them, aren't they?
They are.
Yeah, they're in terrible shape.
And Wes, me, I cleaned my coins, and Wes hadn't cleaned his, and it was pretty neat. We had our club, our metal detecting club meeting just 2 nights ago, and we both brought ours in. Well, I'd cleaned all mine, and he hadn't cleaned all his yet. I mean, he'd done the washed them off and everything, but not the cleaning like I did with the electrolysis and the other things that I had to use. And so it was pretty neat to, I took some of the guys over and I said, I want you to look at how these coins come out. And Wes had a half there, and you couldn't tell what it was. I mean,
No.
You honestly could not tell if it was a Walker, if it was a Franklin or a Kennedy. You had no clue. And I mean, you just can't tell. And I learned with that electrolysis, if I would leave them in there for about 10 or 12 minutes, then that stuff would release. I mean, it's still a booger to get off, but you can get it off. And I mean, I'm to the point with those kind of coins that, scratching them's not going to matter. So you can get aggressive on getting that stuff off. It's the iron that's stuck to them is the thing that's kind of hard to get off. It doesn't react as well as far as releasing with the electrolysis as the green concreted like stuff does. But I have figured out that I can, on a lot of that, I can take a razor blade and just go in and get it to release that way. So, but it's
and that's a lot more aggressive than rubbing a coin in to take a razor.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Oh, if they ever saw what I was doing, to get these coins to where you can tell what they are, they would probably be trying to lynch me.
Mike's wanting to make little army men out of them. So.
Yeah. That's that's what we ought to do. We ought to just melt them down and make plugmaster coins or something. That's our guys we all hunt together. I kind of refer to them all as the plugmasters.
Yeah.
And
Oh man! So what does Mike think about this Horde y'all found, or Wes?
Mike
I'm
sure
sorry,
wish-
you found.
yeah, Mike sure wishes his day off would have been on Friday. Isn't that right, Mike?
Hello, Mike.
You're going to have to take a sick
I can
day.
hear you in the background.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was him vomiting. No, I think he is very happy for us. I mean, shoot, I'd be happy. I mean, just as long as someone we know. I mean, I don't know.
That's right.
He's not upset. He's definitely not upset about it. I think everybody would go, man, I wish I would have found that. you know. I think everybody thinks that way, and but no, I mean he's not mad or anything about it for sure.
Well, you know,
I know there are
to a certain degree, all of us. That's what we're in this for. You know, we always dream of finding something like that. But I'm as happy for you guys finding that as if me and Jeff had found it. You know, because we're good friends and just happy for you. And I know Jeff feels the same way.
Yeah, I do. I feel the same way.
And I
appreciate it.
Me and Jeff can say we knew you guys back when.
Yeah, back when we'd only pop one silver a day, huh?
Yeah, whenever you just.
Can I have your autograph at DIV?
Yeah.
We're
gonna.
Hey, I'll tell you.
We'll set
Jeff,
up a table.
I'll tell you this. I'll let Jeff carry my shovel. How about that?
Okay. Oh, I'm about to pee in my pants. Oh, I'd love to do that. I'll dig your holes for you too.
Yeah.
Well, you guys are on course for what? 500,000 silvers this year?
Yeah, I think I figured it up. I think I told Wes. Or Mike. I said, yeah, right now I'm on pace for 3,500. Silvers, and Wes is way ahead of that.
Yeah. How do you guys divide that up whenever you're both in the hole there, digging and popping and filming and everything? Y'all got some kind of system worked out?
We're just putting them all in one big pile.
Yeah, the last two times we've done it, we just throw it together, and at the end of the day, we split it. You know, and honestly, I've told Wes he doesn't have to do that. You know, I mean, I just enjoy doing it. You know, I mean, honestly, I do. I just enjoy getting down there and digging, and we have fun, and it's just, I mean, it's really fun just to sit there and you know, I love to count it up, you know, as we go, and
it is fun,
so,
but it's really hard work after a while. You kind of earn your pay after all that. So, yeah, I think 50-50 is pretty fair.
Yeah. Well, and we, you know, I mean, we're definitely not doing it for the money part of it, you know.
No, we're not.
That's a bonus that they're worth something, but you know, that it's the whole treasure hunter, the treasure seeker mentality, which is what drives that. You know, it's not, you know, how much can we make off of this cash? You know, I mean, you think of Mel Fisher and what he did, his whole thing was about making money off of his, you know, his dives and everything. And that's great. You know, if a person wanted to do that, you know, if we knew of a treasure that was something like that you could make a bunch of money off of, then that would be a different kind of a ball game. But this was 100% Wes just being in the right place at the right time and digging the right signal. And honestly, it's just fun. You know, I mean, we're having a blast doing it. I'm thankful that we're getting it on video. You know, and I'll be honest, I had to apologize the last couple digs, and you'll see it in the video. I would forget to video. I'll be honest with you. It got to be so much that I would sit there and go, oh, good gracious, you know, I forgot to video. And so I do a lot of catch up, but I think everyone will understand, you know, when you have that hole open, you know, when you have that hole open, you do have a time frame, you know, and you know you have to close it up at the end of the day. So, you know, even though I try to put the digging, I mean, the camera and getting the good footage as priority number one, sometimes it gets kicked back to priority number two a little bit, just so, you know, we can keep it going. And I do feel awful guilty while I'm sitting there videoing Wes as he's working.
Yeah, I can tell. Well, Wes says, "Yeah, I can tell that you feel real guilty."
You'll hear me on video going, "Hey, dig right there, Wes. Dig right there."
Yeah, you're a good coach, I believe you said, didn't you? In your last video, good coach.
Mm-hmm.
I tell you what, guys, it's been a treat having you on here tonight, and we've probably kept you longer than you planned to be on. This story is not over. Somewhere in the neighborhood of 1,400 silver coins. And if you missed what I said a while ago, 333 of them so far are Franklin halves, 165 of them are Walker halves. Those are things that you just don't find every day. And somebody threw a couple of war nickels in there, too. 501 quarters. I think they've got 3 Morgans at this point, 7 peace dollars, 80 Kennedy half dollars, 334 dimes. I mean, it is a dream come true. It's what everybody takes their detector out and looks for. And it couldn't happen to 2 greater guys, I've already said, but it bears repeating. And it's not over. If you haven't checked out their YouTube channel there, Plugmaster Ford is where these videos are being posted. There are 2 of them right now. Episode number 1 of this was called Holy Cow, and the other one was Great Pile of Silver or something. I done forgot again. I'm an old man.
It's the silver pit.
The silver
pit. And the one after that is Super Deep Treasure.
Super Deep Treasure.
But it's not out yet.
It will be out, I guess, this next week then, right?
Yeah, sometime, Wednesday or Thursday. I normally post on Thursday mornings. It's really hard for me to sit on a video. I really like to get them out there. And so I don't know what I'm going to do just because of what I have coming up. I'm not sure I will get number 4 edited and ready in order to post it during DIV. So we might, I hate to do it, but we might go 2 weeks before number 4 comes out. We'll see. If I can get the time to do it, I will get it ready to where I can put it out during DIV. But at this time right now, with everything I've got going, I don't know that that's going to be possible.
Well, I'll give you a heads up, and everybody that's listening as well. On March the 22nd, Jeff and I are going to do our Relics Radio show live in Virginia there at DIV. And I know, Jeff, you'll be there. Missouri Mike will be there. And Barb will be there. We're going to do that in the conference room at the motel. So want to invite all of you guys to come over and just be live with us there. It's just going to, we may take some call-ins, may have enough people there that we just toss it around and just have a good open show there in Virginia. Looking forward to that. And looking forward to the, future episodes, maybe episode 5 or 6 after DIV is over with. And congratulations, guys. What a find.
Yeah, congratulations.
Thank you.
We really appreciate you being on the show. And then can't wait to see the next videos of it. And congratulations. And like Seven said earlier, it couldn't happen to a better group of guys. So.
Yep.
Yeah, thanks. I'll tell you, we are definitely blessed. Definitely blessed.
Yeah.
And I've been, I tell Wes, I go, I owe you, and he says, no, you don't. We're having a good time. I bought him dinner, so he says we're good.
We're good.
Hey,
I
Wes,
promise you we're good.
Hey, Wes, I'll take you out to Longhorn or the restaurant of your choice.
Jeff, you're going to have to step your game up, buddy.
Yeah. Tim Hendricks, he put on there, the hobby is about the relationships, the outdoors, and the excitement of the find, even if it's an old relic or a super coin cache. So, I mean, that sums it up right there.
That is true.
Yeah.
That is true. And we, Jeff and I had the opportunity to hunt with Tim Henderson and Ron Reed this past Saturday in Tennessee, and had a good hunt. We didn't find a whole lot of stuff, but we found some good stuff. And Tim shot some. He shot some video for us with the what do you call that thing?
Drone.
Yeah, with a drone. I drew a blank right there.
Yeah.
Great footage
Yeah.
with
That's
the
when
drone.
that's when my brand new hat got through out the window.
Let me tell all the listeners what I have to deal with. I'm the older I'm the old timer in the group, but I'm the one that always has to get out and open up those 4-ton gates, and swing them open and swing them back. And so I open the gate and everybody pulls through, and then I shut the gate and I walk back up to get in the truck with Jeff. And just about the time I reach for the door handle, he goes up about 10 foot, and so I kind of smile and walk up there, and he goes up another 10 foot, and he does that 3 or 4 times. And so whenever I finally get in the truck and we start out across the field to the site, I just grab his cap and throw it out in the field. That's just the kind of guy that I am. Any parting thoughts there, Wes or Jeff, before we close the show out tonight?
Well, I've seen some comments on some of the videos that people want to get out and find stuff like this, and they don't never have any luck. Well, I'm the guy that I hunted for 3 years before I found my first silver, and I tell you what, guys, this is just probably one of many that nobody knows existed, and just get out and look. It's probably right in your backyard, and you don't have any idea it's there. So you just get out and look.
Rip up your yards, guys.
That's right. Tear it up.
That is.
And
that's good advice.
I was gonna say closing, and that is, I mean, Wes is, he's proof that it just happens, and I've had a lot of people say that, we're ruined. And I will just tell you, I busted a Merc today, and I got excited. So we're not ruined. We still have the love, for finding the coins. I was a little perturbed because I couldn't get over an Indian today, but we I don't think it will ever, cause me to not enjoy the hobby and what I enjoy doing with it, And it's just, it's kind of a deal of, all right, well, say we pull 3,000 coins out of here and we finally call it done. Well, I'm going to go out and see if I can get 3,001 somewhere. It's just that drive of it's a game, the whole thing is a game, and you want to be successful. And so, it's really, it's an unbelievable cache of coins, and we know it's going to end. We don't know when, but we do know it's going to end, and we'll just go back to, what we're doing before that. And, hopefully stumble on another one sometime. I know we probably won't, nothing like this, but who knows? You never know.
You never know what's in the ground.
Never know.
That's why we get out.
No.
And,
That's exactly right.
And it's always the thrill of just seeing what is in the ground, not hearing the signal, trying to guess what you think it is, and then the anticipation of pulling it out. And every once in a while you get lucky, like you guys have. And, you don't find anything sitting on the couch. You got to swing the coil. And, there's treasure in your area. I don't care where you're at. You just got to get out there and find it. But we do appreciate you guys coming on and being such a good guest, and we'll follow you. We'll follow you till the bitter end on this right here.
We sure will.
All right.
Good luck. I hope you do find a 3,000 or 4,000. So
yeah. Oh man,
we'll find out.
Wouldn't that be something?
Yeah, it would be something.
We will.
For sure. Well, thank you guys again. And Wes, thank you. I've enjoyed it. I wish I could have got to hear a lot of Wes's story, when I was in and out of cell service, but I know a lot of it. And I mean, honestly, it couldn't happen to a better guy as far as Wes getting in on that whole thing. And I'm just tickled to death with all the bucket list coins that he's marked off, It's we told him when he got that E-Track he'd find a lot more silver, but we didn't think it was that much.
Yeah, you didn't think it was going to be this. You know, I've never found a walking Liberty, never found a standing Liberty, and like I said earlier, I'm not a coin guy, but I mean,
right,
that they're still on my bucket list. I mean, I would love to find them. So, I mean,
yeah.
At 7 says I'm not hunting the right home site.
Yeah,
you're not going to find a guy. You're not going to find a guy like me too sorry for you, Mister 2 plates a week finder.
Yeah, we don't have too much sympathy for Jeff. He's a great hunter. There's no doubt about it. But Jeff works for it. I mean, Jeff will dig those iffy signals, and a lot of them turn out. He's taught me a lot hunting with him. Even me being older than him, an old dog can learn new tricks. So I appreciate him. And
you've taught me a lot, Seven.
Well, that's the way it's supposed to be, I guess, is that we just go back and forth and share with one another. We certainly do appreciate everybody that is in the chat tonight, everybody that's listening to us live, and also everybody that will listen to us on the archive. And if all you guys will stay on the line, I'm going to mute you and close the show out, and we'll say our goodbyes after that. And want to remind you that we will be here again next Thursday night. Our guest will be Bill Marsh and Mark Hoover. Looking forward to that show. And I also want to remind you as we close out, if you like metal detecting podcasts like this, be sure and check out Beyond Sight and Sound, American Digger Relic Roundup, History Seekers, All Metal Mode, and Hardcore Metal Detecting. I listen to all of those channels and highly recommend every one of them. There's always some good guests and always some good content. So we'll see you next Thursday. Thank you for joining us tonight on Relics Radio. We certainly appreciate it. Be sure and join us live each Thursday night at 6 p.m. Central Time. That's 7 o'clock Eastern Time here on Spreaker. Or you can catch the archive show at Relics Radio on Spreaker, iTunes, or iHeartRadio. Please take a minute and hit the like button, and be sure and follow us so that you'll get notifications of all of our upcoming broadcasts. You can also find us on YouTube at Diggin' with Seven or Tennessee Jeff. Or you can check out our Facebook page, Relics Radio. If you'd like to get in touch with us, then send an email to digginwith7@gmail.com. We'd love to hear from you. We hope that you'll join us next Thursday night, and until then, get out there and dig some history.